Have you ever wondered why you start liking a song that you didn't enjoy the first time you heard it? Or why someone starts to seem more attractive after you've seen them multiple times, even though you felt nothing at first? And why do familiar brands feel more trustworthy, even if you've never actually used their products? It's not a coincidence. It's one of the most subtle psychological tricks your brain plays on you. It's called the mere exposure effect. In this video, we'll explore how this effect manipulates your emotions and choices every single day, the science behind it, why your brain is so easily fooled by familiarity, and how you can use this effect to improve relationships, grow in your career, and even learn to like yourself more. What is the mere exposure effect? Definition and psychological roots. The mere exposure effect is a psychological phenomenon discovered by social psychologist Robert Zajonc in 1968. It refers to the idea that the more we're exposed to something, even passively, the more we tend to like it. Zajonc conducted a series of experiments. In one famous study, he showed participants strange symbols, like Chinese characters, abstract art, or unfamiliar faces, for a very short time. Some images were shown repeatedly, while others appeared only once. The result? The more frequently shown images were rated more positively, even though the participants couldn't consciously remember seeing them. Why does this happen? It all comes down to efficiency. The brain favors what's easier to process. The more we see something, the easier our brains process it. This ease of processing gets translated into a positive feeling. In other words, familiarity equal safety equal likability. How the brain works with mere exposure. The mere exposure effect is driven by three major psychological and neurological mechanisms. 1. Processing fluency. Your brain likes things it can process easily. The more it sees a face, a word, or a logo, the faster and smoother it can interpret that information. That processing ease creates a positive emotional response. 2. Survival. Instinct. From an evolutionary standpoint, familiarity signals safety. If something shows up repeatedly and hasn't harmed you, your brain logs it as safe, leading to a sense of comfort and trust. 3. Reduced social anxiety. In social situations, repeatedly seeing someone, even without talking, makes them seem more approachable. Just regular visual exposure reduces fear and increases the sense of connection. Real-life examples. It's everywhere. 1. Music. You hear a song on TikTok and think it's meh, but after hearing it 10 times, thanks to repetition, you start humming along. That's the mere exposure effect. Music producers intentionally repeat tracks to create a feeling of familiarity, which turns into preference. 2. Advertising and branding. You may never have drunk Coca-Cola, yet it feels familiar and trustworthy. That's because you've seen the logo, color, and ads everywhere. Brands use this effect to build trust, simply by being seen more often. 3. Human relationships. Ever started liking someone just because you see them a lot? A coworker, a classmate, or even a TikToker you've never met? Repetition alone can make someone seem more attractive, even if you didn't notice them at first. 4. Games and apps. Apps send notifications with repeated sounds and icons. This repetition creates familiarity and a psychological bond. You feel attached to an app that's always around. Social media and influencers. When an influencer shows up repeatedly in your feed, you may eventually click, watch, and feel they're more relatable. Platforms and algorithms intentionally push repetition to foster familiarity and preference. The dark side of mere exposure. The mere exposure effect isn't always positive. It can be used to manipulate you. Politics. Politicians gain popularity simply by appearing more often on TV, even if the coverage is negative, because we recognize them more. Fake news. Repeated exposure to misinformation can lead your brain to mistake it for truth, even without evidence. Toxic relationships. We may stay attached to unhealthy people just because they're familiar, not because they're good for us. Powerful studies behind this effect. Word study, Zajonc, 1968. Participants saw unfamiliar words. Words repeated multiple times were rated more pleasant and even beautiful. Repetition alone changed perception. Attractive classmate study, Moreland and Beach, 92. 4 women attended college lectures without speaking. Each woman attended a different number of times. Students later rated the one who attended the most as more attractive and friendly, even though no one had interacted with her. Brain imaging, fMRI, early 2000s. Researchers found that when people saw repeated images, pleasure-related brain regions lit up, even if they didn't consciously notice the repetition. How to use mere exposure to succeed. 1. Build a personal brand. Creating content. Post regularly and consistently. People will remember and like you just because they see you often. 2. Strengthen relationships. Want to be seen as more friendly or trustworthy? Be present frequently at work, school, or events. Familiarity builds comfort. 3. Increase your attractiveness. You don't need to be extraordinary. Just show up consistently with a good attitude. Every time you smile or help, you're building the exposure effect. 4. Love yourself. More. Do you criticize yourself often? Flip the script. Look in the mirror and speak kindly to yourself every day. Over time, your brain starts associating your reflection with positive feelings. Yes, mere exposure can help with self-love too. The mere exposure effect may sound simple, but it's one of the most powerful forces in how your brain makes decisions every single day. It shapes your choices in friends, products, media, and even how you view yourself. Key lessons: never underestimate the power of repetition and presence. Showing up consistently is more influential than being impressive once. Be mindful of what you're exposed to, because your brain may like it just for being familiar, not because it's good. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves psychology or wants to understand themselves better. Want more deep dive videos like this? Let me know in the comments what topic you'd like next.